Hey everyone, welcome to the SmackDrop Podcast, your wrestling recap show that covers WWE and AEW events, found right here at youtube.com/SmackDrop Podcast. We're also on most major podcast platforms if you're more into the audio version of things, you know, like Spotify, Google Play Music, iTunes, and lastly, we are now featured on Wrestling World or WrestlingNewsWorld.com. You guys got to check it out, man. We're so stoked to be there. It's an awesome wrestling news website that also features podcasts, interviews, and hot takes. Go check them out. My name's Kyle. If it's your first time joining us, thank you so much. Joining me today to talk about Raw with you guys is, of course, Mr. Sebastian and Vince. How's it going, fellas?
Oh, what's up? I'm good, man. I'm good. Excited. I'm pumped. Very exciting episode of Raw. It was eventful nonetheless. I'm excited to talk about it, man. And I'm happy to be on here. And this is my debut for News Worldwide. Wrestle News World. Wrestle News World.
Let's all botch their name tonight.
Let's all botch the name, yes. But would it not be the SmackDown podcast if we don't throw in a botch or two?
Oh, Jesus. Or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Sebastian, how you doing, man? Long time no see on the Raw side of things.
God, yeah, actually. No, I didn't even think about that. It's been a couple months since I've been on Raw.
Yeah, if you guys are first-time listeners, Vince is actually normally our NXT host, but we might as well call you our NXT host / co-host of Monday Night Raw. You do double duty most weeks now. And Sebastian, he goes back and forth with SmackDown, whether he's hosting the show or co-hosting it. So, but yeah, so you'll see these guys throughout the week. Of course, if you watch the Money in the Bank recap, you guys got to meet RN and Rob Roode, other NXT and AEW guys. All that's left now, I think, is we'll get Kevin on here and Mr. Jay Thunder, who
Wednesday night,
yes, we'll get them on the shows too. So exciting! We'll finally have the full SmackDraw crew this week.
Perfect.
It's going to be so confusing to people. Like, who are all these people they're talking about?
Oh, no. We're like a whole ass basketball team. We're like ready. We're a whole basketball team.
This is the most confusing podcast I've ever listened to, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my gosh. Also, don't forget to hit us up in the live chat. And then with those YouTube and those the podcast platforms, like, download, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And then, once again, make sure you go visit WrestlingNewsWorld.com. All joking aside, awesome website. I've been checking them out all week since they reached out to us for this partnership, and they are legit, like absolutely legit.
Fun fact, they're the reason I won Money in the Bank predictions, because they posted an article with the updated Money in the Bank betting odds, and I'm like,
You can't go by the odds, man. Don't do that.
No, I didn't. I used the odds. I looked at it. I'm like, okay, do I agree with the odds or not? And I went based off of that. The odds.
Cheated.
No.
Cheated.
Maybe. But if it wasn't for Wrestle News World, I probably don't win Money in the Bank.
I think instead of having like some tiebreaker, we should just make Vince the loser now. He admitted
to cheating.
No.
He did.
No.
Did they have Otis as the favorite?
No, it was Alistair and AJ were tied, and then Alistair took the lead, and then it kept going back and forth between AJ and Alistair.
Where was Otis in the betting odds?
He was, I think, like fourth, maybe.
Like, dude, he was like dead last in my books.
No,
like,
Rey Mysterio was dead
field.
last. Rey was dead last in the betting odds, which surprised me, to be honest.
Oh no, I could see that now. Now that you say that.
Yeah, I think after them it was Baron, and then it was who else was in the match? It was Daniel and then Otis. Otis was second to last, actually.
Okay. Yeah, before we get into stuff, we got to know a little bit about RN and Rob last night. Let's dive into Vince and Sebastian. What is your favorite fast food chain?
Does my local Mexican taco joint count?
Is it fast food?
They're pretty fast when they give me my food. But no, in all seriousness, I gotta say Wendy's is pretty solid when I want like
cardboard.
Man, Wendy's is pretty solid.
Their Twitter handle's fire though. Like their Twitter game's on point.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? Actually, let me change that. Culver's is my favorite. Culver's here in Chicago is actually my favorite. I like going there for their burger. Their spicy chicken sandwich is underrated. It doesn't get the hype that Popeyes does, but it's pretty good. So I would say
It's a
Culver's.
fast food chain.
Yeah, it's a fast food chain here in Chicago.
Okay.
So I would say Culver's. So all my Chicago and Midwest people, Culver's is the spot to go.
What about you, Seb?
Raising Cane's.
I've never heard of these places.
I've never heard of. No, man, it must be a Kentucky thing.
No, it's not. It's in Ohio. I know of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
But the closest one to me is 2 hours away. Anytime I'm in Lexington, I eat it. When I go to a state tournament, I eat it 5 days in a row at lunch. I eat it when I visit family in Ohio. If there's one around, I'm eating it. But yeah, Raising Cane's is crap.
Okay. I said on the last show, Bojangles, because I'm in North Carolina.
See, I've never heard of Bojangles.
Bojangles for real?
I've never heard of it.
Oh wow, man, they're good. They're good. I feel like I have a gun to my head, like by all the North Carolinians. So I'm scared to say any other chain. Let's just put it like that. They're serious.
I get you.
They're serious about their Bojangles down here.
I bet.
Before we get into Raw, man, you guys get a chance to see the Undertaker special part 1?
See, I was jumping between the Undertaker stuff and then the recap show last night, so I was jumping between both of it. What I did catch, it was really, really good. I had to go back and watch it like from start to finish, but what I saw, I loved.
Yo, that dude walks around in serious pain. Like that guy, he looks like he can barely walk. It's amazing that he even wrestles at the level that he does wrestle at.
It is, man.
You caught the whole thing, Seb?
Yeah, it's a very telling doc.
It's man, it's good too. It's real good. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was very into it.
Can't wait.
Bro, and if you,
it's Sunday's part 2, I believe, right?
Yeah, if you ain't got your guard up, bro, it'll bring the waterworks, man. It will. Oh yes, it will. You gotta have your guard up high, man. Luckily, my wife was sleeping, so I was able to just let it all out. You know? Had she woke up, man, I would have been an embarrassing mess at the end of that episode. Jesus Christ.
Al tries to hide it, but he's a softie inside. Deep down inside.
I don't try to hide it. On
the show, you do. You'll end the podcast before you get emotional.
Oh my God. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into Monday Night Raw. A lot of big stuff happened tonight, and what a weird episode. Like,
yeah,
in my opinion, good. But let's be honest, man. This episode was off the wall. Vince. Now I didn't miss the first hour and a half, but like if you guys have seen the show before, sometimes I'm caught up at work and I have to have it playing on my phone. I can't take my notes down, so I'm gonna hand the ball. I'm gonna put the ball in your court, Vince. Go ahead and walk us through how this show ran for the first hour and a half.
I mean, well, it started off with like a big like news drop with the whole Becky stuff. I mean, there were speculations going around on Twitter and everywhere else about what it was. There were rumors that she was pregnant and had to relinquish the title. And sure enough, that's how we open up. It is Becky Lynch. She comes out to say that the Money in the Bank match wasn't just for the briefcase itself. She talked to the higher ups, the people in charge, and she had the match changed. And before like she gets really deep into everything, she says that this is like a really hard decision for me. Like I'm in a really weird spot. And like my life's about to change and I have to make the right decision because of it. You can see she's getting choked up. This is a hard thing for her to do, but she realizes there's something she has to do. Asuka comes out and she's all hot because Becky comes out with the briefcase. She doesn't have the WWE title with her, the Raw Women's title with her. She has the briefcase in hand. Asuka's hot. She's going back and forth with her. And that's when Becky just drops the news on Asuka, telling her that the briefcase, the Money in the Bank match wasn't just for the briefcase itself. It was in fact for the Raw Women's title. And she's like, you've had this briefcase, but you haven't been able to open it. I have a combination locked in there. She opens the combination and then the briefcase opens to reveal that the women's title's in there. She hands it over to Asuka and tells her that you are now the Raw Women's Champion. You deserve it. You have been the best wrestler here for the last year. You have been the one person that has been able to beat me nonstop. And I want you to go out there and be a warrior, because I have to go and be a mom. And it was a very it was raw and it was real because you can tell that Asuka knew that she was going to get the title, but she didn't know why. So her reaction to Becky, that seemed genuine and like that in the moment.
How about when Becky first reveals the title and Asuka is shocked, like I'm the champ, I'm the champ, and then once Asuka realizes it's true, full on celebration, like she just won the Royal Rumble, like she dives out the ring, dancing everywhere. I'm not gonna do the impression because it's terrible.
No, but she does tell commentary to get out the way, get out the way
so she could jump on the damn table. Oh, it was amazing. And when she got back in the ring and then Becky's like, I'm super happy for you, but to be honest, I'm probably more happy because, you know, you're going to be a fighting champion. Like you said, she's like, I'm going to go on and be a mom. And then Becky was like shoot crying. That wasn't fake. I mean, if that was acting, like, damn, bro. Like, I need to know who your acting coach is.
I mean, she is rumored to be joining the Marvel Universe.
Oh, dude, she's going straight Hollywood after this. Yeah, she is off to Hollywood. Everybody say goodbye to full-time Becky because we will never see that again. Not that we won't ever see her again, but remember when Rock transitioned? He'd come back, do a run, and come back, do a couple matches. That's probably Becky.
I mean, we're not seeing Becky for a long time now.
At least a year.
It maybe longer. I've said that the earliest I see her returning is the Royal Rumble in 2022. So that's when I see her maybe making a return because yes, it's like the pregnancy, the 9 months, but it's also the recovery. You want to spend time with your child, your newborn. I mean, you guys are parents. You know what that's like. You guys want to be around your kid, but also that she has to get back into ring shape. So that's going to take her time. I'm going to say.
Well, that's if her passion's, still in it, man.
The way she left, it felt like the passion's still there because she was emotional. And on the ramp, she even said, I'm going to miss you guys. She's going to miss this.
It's easy to say it now, but when she's there holding the kid.
Yeah, man, you got a year of your life changing. There's no telling. There's no telling.
Yeah, I mean, when she has the kid, who knows? She might want to be a full-time mom.
You know what's going to be crazy is seeing her on social media in a couple months. She can't dye her hair no more. So we're going to get, like, brunette Becky.
I missed that. I missed brunette Becky. That was OG Becky, the one that I loved back in NXT.
I want this to go full circle though. I hope they do a gender reveal on Raw, and I hope Asuka blows out the mist to be pink or blue.
Oh, yes.
That's what I want.
That's what I want. That's what I want, man. Anybody watching this, you should want this too. That is amazing.
Yeah, use the mist.
Oh my God, yes. Vince, what happened after the segment?
Afterwards, I think we go to commercial. We come back, and she's backstage being interviewed by Charlie again about the whole situation that's been going on. And one by one, superstars in the back, they come up to her.
All baby faces, because heels can't be happy about childbirth.
Not even Seth Rollins.
Dude, Seth Rollins wasn't even happy tonight. We'll get into that. Look at the guy. Look at this.
But look like he already had the kid.
Oh my God! Yeah, dude, that's like 3 weeks after the kid right there.
I mean, you guys should know more than me. You guys would know. I wouldn't.
Oh.
But after the whole congratulations are exchanged, that was it was a nice little moment. And then afterwards, we get Bobby Lashley versus Umberto Carrillo, a rematch from last week. This time it's a no DQ match. If you guys recall, last week Bobby Lashley lost against Umberto in the gauntlet match to qualify for Money in the Bank because
via DQ though. He pushed
DQ,
ref.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was DQ, so that's why they set up the no DQ match. Honestly, I don't have too much notes for this. It was a very easy match. Like he defeated Umberto relatively easy.
There was no line. Wasn't it a submission?
He used, I think, the what's this called?
The muffler stretch or
not the muffler stretch. Chris Masters used to use it back in the day.
The Master Law. He beat him with a freaking full Nelson.
Full Nelson. Yeah. Full Nelson. Yeah. I think
wow, Umberto, come on, man! You can't be tapping to a full Nelson.
Well, he passed out.
A full Nelson, though.
He passed out, man.
Oh God.
Lashley's a big guy.
I know, but the full Nelson's such like a humiliating submission. Like, it
really is, man. Because it feels like. You're like you can see everyone looking at you, struggling to get out of the hole. It's embarrassing.
Lashley was legit MMA. He'll put
He
him
got
out.
nowhere to hide in a full Nelson.
Oh yeah, that's right. It actually is legit MMA.
Yeah, he'll put him out.
You ever seen his?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his fights though?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
They weren't.
Not-
They're not like Brock Lesnar fights. I'll give you that. It's.
I
was-
watched Brock.
Did you ever see Batista's fight?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So they essentially they were fed like couch potatoes. You know what I mean? Like guys that
Pretty-
were MMA, but you know they were. They
Pretty
were.
much
It's not
what
like
they're
they were
doing
like
with,
elite talent by no means.
Pretty much what they've done with Jack Hager.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Swagger.
He's
Whatever.
whatever, man. To take nothing away from Bobby though, he stepped in the ring. I ain't saying like, look, man, whatever. Like, no, dude stepped in the ring, got in a fight. It's just like if you saw the opponents he fought, like, and then you saw Bobby Lashley, like, oh yeah, Bobby's gonna tear through him. Like it was,
Right.
it was weird. But anyways, I digress. It's just me. I'm a big MMA fan, but anyways, yeah. So
But-
he beat him. He beat Carrillo, and then what?
That,
what
that, that
happened?
was basic. That was basically it. We didn't get more Bobby Lashley development until later on in the show, especially once he interacts with MVP. But this was just him just being more vicious, just like being like, "I'm gonna take this guy out for beating me last week."
Oh yeah,
Still
he wasn't
mad.
playing around, man.
He wasn't playing around. He's more
no.
serious, and I like Lashley like this. This is how he should be.
Yeah.
After this, though, we did have like a backstage segment, or like where we saw Selena Vega and all her crew like just arguing amongst each other. You can
Yeah, what were
feel
they
that
saying, bro?
I didn't catch everything, man. Just because I speak Spanish doesn't mean I understand everything.
Come on, you are our show's translator, okay?
I know, but even some Latinos speak too fast for other Latinos, man. I'm telling you, it's a thing. But generally, it was just them arguing amongst themselves. Selena just trying to right the ship, but she can't. We come back from commercial. We have Akira Tozawa versus
Austin
Angel Garza.
Theory, hey, just to paint the picture, Austin Theory was positioned by himself, and Garza and Andrade were kind of a little bit shoulder to shoulder. You know, they're kind of putting Austin Theory looks like visually on an island.
Hey, they're doing, Austin's been tweeting stuff like he tweeted a picture 4 hours before the show, just him and Selena in a picture, and saying he's her number one guy and all that. So
Yeah, so who knows, man? But go
It's
on,
interesting.
Go on. Though.
So what I loved about this match is that, like I said, it was Garza versus Tozawa, but during the match, you can hear Garza mouthing out to Theory. It's like, I can do this all day. I can do this all day. He's talking smack. Like Theory is like getting pissed off. Selena's like, guys, chill. And Andrade is just in the background, just like taking it all in, just like laughing and enjoying the entire thing.
So
Garza does get the win here with the wing clipper, and while has him in the wing clipper, he's mouthing off to Theory again, saying, "I can do this all day, I can do this all night, I can do this all week, I can do this all year," and then hits the wing clipper on Tozawa. And 1, 2, 3. The one point I want to bring up from our end is that I don't like how Tozawa is just basically being like dismantled by these Raw superstars, but over on NXT, he's one of the undefeated guys in the Cruiserweight tournament. It's like there's no continuity there. Like you can't. How can you believe that this guy is really good on NXT, but when it comes to Raw, he's outclassed? You know?
Yeah, I hear you for sure. Tamara Knowlton, or well, I guess not Tamara, says, "Sup, y'all? It's Gary on wife's account. Hope all is well." Well, thank you, Gary. Smitten. I assume you mean sitting back, enjoying the show. Thanks, guys. Oh well, thank you, Gary. I think Gary was chatting us up last night on the chat on the Money in the Bank review.
I think so.
Yeah.
Gary sounds like a good guy.
Why you on your wife's account, Gary? What do you got? What's going on over there?
What does he got to hide, Gary? What are you hiding, Gary?
What are you?
Oh, Gary's
you
listening to
looking
us.
for,
Let's
Gary?
not question Gary. Okay, we shouldn't be investigating our viewer.
We're interrogating him at this
Ah.
point.
So
But
after the match, Drew McIntyre comes out, right?
Yes.
And he comes in the ring, and he stands opposite of the whole faction. You've got Andrade, Austin Theory, and oh God, help me out, Angel Garza.
yeah,
And he says his phone died. Likely story, Gary. But anyways, he essentially, you could tell he was there to talk some smack. He wasn't there to fight him, but you know, obviously, if they're going to square up, let's fight. And essentially, I keep wanting to say Humberto Carrillo. God dang, he was in the match. Garza and Andrade feed Theory to McIntyre. Hits him with the
Drew
Claymore
McIntyre.
kick. And then they start laughing. This is the weird part, man. They start laughing. Look at our boy Theory down.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, Garza gets fed a Claymore kick. And then McIntyre challenges Andrade to a match, which is what comes on after the. Kyle, acting like Jerry. Sorry, no, I just got called Jerry Lawler in the chat, man. I'm sorry. That's going to throw me off. No, we're going to block you from the chat, Jay.
Well, it's because you're confusing Angel Garza with Umberto Carrillo.
Oh,
one
Jesus
Mexican...
Christ, I am Jerry Lawler. God damn it. All right. Anyways.
But I liked how Drew McIntyre is just being the instigator here. Yeah. And like he sees the dissension within this faction. And this faction, if they can get everything together, could be a threat to McIntyre. And not intentionally, he's getting a kick out of this because Selena's been messing with him for a couple of weeks. He's like, now I'm gonna return the favor, kind of like when like RN throws a jab my way or Jay throws a jab my way, I'm gonna throw one right back, and that's what this was.
It can go deeper in that too. Maybe Drew just wants to prove he's the best champion.
That's true.
He just likes handing out Claymore parties, though.
Oh, that's true too.
Oh, Gary was on our show for Smack Raw Wrestling. He's Kevin Crazy's friend.
Oh yes, that's right.
He was feeding us the stories about Kevin getting like kicked in the dick by a chick, and then like now they're still together or something. Now they're like married or something. I don't know.
The man.
Anyways,
she knew the ways to his heart.
No, it was good, and McIntyre and Andrade had a decent match. Obviously, not like the pay-per-view quality they've had before, or like the WrestleMania quality we saw on Drew have last night. He does end up winning with a Claymore kick straight forward. This is where I do have a problem, though. And what was the purpose of this faction? They debut, not even 2 months ago. They come out, they lay out everybody. They lay everybody out. And then now you have just chipped away at them through infighting and then obviously being a non-threat to anybody with a title. And at this point, you have, now granted, Drew's the top guy, but he's not only able to take out Angel Garza and Austin Theory, he can negate the threat of Zelina Vega on the outside and still dismantle Andrade, the United States champion, fresh after a brutal match with Seth Rollins. Why should anybody feel threatened by this faction or take them seriously anymore? They've gone from what could have potentially been top guys on your brand, push to the moon, make stars out of all of them, and make them all credible threats. And now they're nothing more than just any other annoying heel faction that's always going to come up short and maybe just get you in a beatdown here and there. Like, they've already taken away our reason to care about any of these guys.
I did kind of, Vince referenced that Andrade was just sitting back laughing, just didn't care. I do kind of like that in a way, because if you're going to break them up, at least it makes sense. Andrade wasn't around when they got them together. Selena, why Andrade was out. So why should Andrade care? Wasn't his doing.
But,
So
I mean, you have a chance to build stars. You have a chance to go ahead and
elevate
these guys and create threats. I know. I get the kayfabe why it looks good.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it's one of those cases where they're like, we're going to change up the group? Because you pointed it out, like a lot of the times it does seem like it's Garza and Andrade just picking on the white guy in the group.
I didn't want to say it.
No, that's okay. I can say it. I had the liberty to say it. But that's what it was. They were picking on the white guy in the group. And maybe that's the thing. They're going to slowly get rid of Theory because he's not the fit there, and then they'll bring in someone else or just keep them as a tag.
But at the end of the day, they're still getting, all three of them are getting beat up. Remember when Braun Strowman was beating up tag champions and just tearing through the tag division on his own? That was at least a tag team of two people. You now have it in a situation where a faction can just get beat up by one guy.
Well, no, it kind of negates, though. I mean, like you said, just in order how it happened. Fury, the excuse was his two guys pushed him into him. He couldn't help that. Garza was just in a match. So, I mean, there's ways you can pick it apart. But if you really want to think about it this way, Drew's a champ. I mean, if you lose to the 73-win Golden State Warriors, oh, well, you lost to the best. But if you lose to, I don't know, the Houston Rockets that can't win a big game, that's different. I mean, you got to...
I'm gonna go. I'm
Everything
gonna go
content.
by your judgment with it, man. Because
I
basketball
I, I
references are gonna
love
go right over my
Seb.
head.
I forget how much I love you until he would drop a basketball reference,
Yeah,
and then
I
like
mean,
my love for you just immensely
yeah, I mean,
intensifies.
everything's in content. You got beat up by the best when your own friends was trying to kill you anyway. So of course Fury's gonna get whooped. I mean,
So look, the way I half agree with Kyle. Right now, they feel like League of Nations with again going against Roman Reigns, but they could still turn this around.
You
We'll
do
see.
not want to ever feel like League of Nations
That's what they
or the
like.
core or
But
goddamn
it doesn't feel like they're
Nexus.
losing. It doesn't feel like they're losing because they're incompetent. It feels like they're losing because they can't get shit together amongst themselves. If they can get things together,
How many
and
brain cells does it take to realize there's three of us and there's one guy? We
you
can
have the
beat
three
him up.
most, you have the three most arrogant, cocky guys
One of
in
them's
the
a
roster.
fucking champ. He's the United States champion.
They all feel like they should be the number one representative for Selena Vega. Seb's alluded to that. Seb alluded to that with the theories tweet. So they all feel like they should be the top guy. So maybe there's like a power balance there, kind of. But
yeah. I mean, Andrade wants to see Fury get his head kicked off. So why would it? I mean,
exactly. But the big point was after the match, Kyle. That what do you guys think of that?
The promo he gave?
Yeah, the promo he gave in the announcement about the wildcard rule coming back with.
Oh my god! Yeah, welcome back, wildcard rule.
Hey, well, I'm always a brand split guy. You all know this every time this crap gets brought up. But in this situation, I don't have a problem with this. Raw and SmackDown have been, forced to do rematches after rematches. Even Fury and Garza, how many times have they faced a street prop? They faced them 3 times in one night in different matches, for crying out loud. Roman's gone for a while. Becky's gone for a while. Bray pretty much and Braun was forced into a feud because there's no one else. They're kind of handicapped right now without something like this, and especially if it lasts 2 or 3 more months. So I don't have a problem as long as I don't overdo it. The wild card rule, it was like 4 people, blah blah blah. It got convoluted, and tag teams counted as 1 and all that crap. As long as it's just 1 or 2 people, and it's for a specific match, like hyping the match in advance, saying Baron Corbin's facing Drew next week, it's going to be a match. I don't have a problem with that as long as it's not random and convoluted.
The one thing I don't want to see.
We all know that's what it turns into. That's exactly what it leads to. Baron Corbin this week, and then somebody next week, and then
Charlotte's going to be on SmackDown this week.
Yeah, I mean, even have one every week.
She's a Raw superstar who
have
doubles on NXT.
Well, she's on NXT right now.
Well, you know what? You know what the good thing's going to come of this? The Intercontinental Champion's going to travel. Sami Zayn's going to go across brands.
They said they were going to supposedly address the IC title situation because he's staying home. He's not going anywhere. Look, the one thing I want to do,
and that's a deal too. What if there's somebody else that decides to jump at train, stay home? I mean, right now it's really doing what you can do to make sure you can fill out a card.
This is my argument. This is my argument for that, though. I get that. I get it. But here's the thing. We're already depleted roster-wise on Raw and SmackDown. We're depleted. We're already seeing the same guys week in and week out. Okay? Now, what happens is now if you eliminate that and guys can cross over brands, that means we're going to even more repetition. Now, I get on one side of the argument, fresh matchups. Of course, who doesn't want to see Drew McIntyre take on Baron Corbin, who used to be...
No, I do.
I kind of do, too, because of the history... He used to be.
I want to see Drew versus Jinder more than I want to see him against Baron.
True. No, actually, I'm all about
shut
that.
The hell
Drew versus Jinder, make it happen.
Shut the hell up.
Man, Jinder works his way all the way up the ladder. We'll get back to that.
Not just the history, man.
But what I'm saying is, you really run the threat of creating even more repetition because then you become reliant on your biggest guys. You don't worry about the fresh matchups because let's be honest. WWE isn't all about giving us a ton of fresh matchups. It's who's our biggest stars, let's expose them the most. And then all of a sudden, Raw and SmackDown just became the same 8 people on both shows. And it's...
As long as I keep it one person, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's an
So-
invitation. You can't invite a whole roster.
The
It's
only
his-
thing I don't want to see is to see a SmackDown superstar win a Raw title and vice versa.
I agree.
That's
with
the only thing I don't want. I don't want to see Seth Rollins go to SmackDown and win the Universal title off of Braun. I don't want to see that because then you leave yourself with the question: is he a SmackDown superstar now? Is he a Raw superstar now? And that makes it more convoluted. Just let them stay with the respective brands. If it's going to be one person being invited every week or just to see a matchup here and there, fine. Look, man. You're getting mad over spilled milk here. You're crying over spilled milk. It's happening whether we want it or not. Just the best thing you can do now is to take chicken shit and turn it into chicken shit salad. Make the best out of the situation. Just enjoy the things that you can enjoy, and just shit on the things you don't.
All right, man. We'll roll with it. But I'm telling you, my guard.
I'm not happy about it.
My guard is up, my friend. My guard.
Now,
Oh, minus 2.
You guys know I'm as big as a brand split kind of guy. I mean, every time this was brought up before, big brand split guy. But right now, circumstances, just needed fresh stuff. Both shows. I mean, it's the same.
Yeah.
As long as it's
Jay
one
says
person.
He doesn't want Corbin and McIntyre.
Oh, hey, Corbin, like him or not, in the ring, he's a great worker, and him and Drew.
Oh yeah, I like Corbin. Don't get me wrong,
mean,
I love Corbin. I just don't want to see that match against Drew. That's going to be my piss break next week.
No, it's gonna be a good match. I'm
Christ.
excited for it.
Lashley,
I don't mean to cut you off, Seb, but
You're good, dude.
we've been on this for a while. What followed the Drew announcement?
Lashley was backstage with MVP.
Yes.
They were talking to each other. MVP makes a reference saying like, "Look, man, look what's happening. Baron Corbin, a SmackDown guy, is gonna have a match against the WWE champion when you have it. When's the last time you had a WWE title match? I'll tell you when it was. 2007. Last time, back in 2007, I was barely starting my career. I leave. I come back 13 years later. You're still in the same spot. Why? He just goes off on him. And Bobby Lashley just kind of like takes this all in and realizes that he's right. MVP's like, look, man, think that over. I got to go get ready for my match. As he's leaving, he sees Lana. It's like, what are you doing talking to my husband? I'm like, oh, so you're the cage that's locking Bobby Lashley up.
I hope Vince enjoyed seeing Lana tonight.
Yeah. Oh no, I hated seeing Lana. Like,
Hey, in this context, it's wonderful because it's her getting her comeuppance.
Outta
MVP's
here,
there
giving her the
stealing her
boot.
man, dude.
yeah. And that's the thing. MVP basically says like, hey man, so if Bobby Lashley wants to upgrade, let me know. I can manage him. And then she just yells at him. I don't even remember what the fuck she says, but she says,
Oh, just how dare you? You know what I mean? It was just
like,
it
it's
was,
so over the top and extra.
yeah.
But
It was true to her character though. I'll give it this. I mean, that worked. It worked.
What's her character? Annoying blonde woman? Like
Kind of like loud, annoying blonde woman.
So a Karen. So
No,
she's a Karen.
'cause- maybe.
If I see her asking to talk to the manager, then her gimmick is Karen.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But next up we had Moment of Bliss, Raw Edition. The tag team champions are finally traveling like they should be because Bliss and Cross, they're in SmackDown, but they were able to travel over to Raw because of the tag team titles and brought over the Moment of Bliss. Overall, I liked the segment. I thought it was really good. And
The Iconics came out and
yes, I know
Yeah,
Raw
the
was salivating
Iconics-
at the mouth.
yo, listen, the Iconics come out and Nikki Cross scorches the effing earth with them. Like, I'm sorry that your big return is now going to live in the shadow of Becky Lynch's pregnancy announcement. And I was like,
Jeez.
oh my God, dude. It was so brutal. It was true too, man, because they were completely overshadowed by it all night. We didn't all night hear about the Iconics return. No.
Yeah.
It was every 15 minutes. By the way, Becky Lynch is pregnant. You know, eventually, towards the third hour, they just created a ticker. Breaking news, Becky's pregnant. You know,
I'm surprised you didn't create a ticker for the show, Kyle.
no,
so, like,
I'm done with
Becky
the
Lynch-
tickers. I'm done with the tickers, man. They're annoying as hell, man, and they're just an eyesore.
Yeah, man.
But
I love the
Like
Iconics
Jinder
here.
Mahal.
what's that?
I said like Jinder Mahal.
Like
No,
Jinder
stop
Mahal.
it. Stop it.
We'll get to Jinder.
You are Jinder's
Jesus.
biggest fan. If you try hard enough, he would follow you. I
Screw
promise.
Jinder. I would say something
he
else. I'm trying to
probably
watch
could
my
have, man.
language.
He probably could have. But I love the Iconics here, though. They came out. Yes, they were still doing their regular shtick. I love how Billy Kay said, like, you got to be kidding me. You know, like, I love they brought in all their standard stuff they throw in there, but they were serious.
They
were
weren't over the
determined.
top. They
They
were
weren't
not
too
that
over the
loud
top.
over the top like they normally are.
They meant business. They came here. They wanted those titles. They challenged Bliss Cross for a title match, and I think Nikki Cross said something like, well, Becky's gonna have a baby. Well, these titles are like our babies. We can't just give them up like that. And I'm like,
That
aren't you
one
guys?
was a little corny.
I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, aren't you guys the babyface champions? Shouldn't you guys be like up for the challenge? Like, why are you just like cowering against these Iconics? Like, I love the Iconics, but they haven't done anything recently for you to be threatened by them. If you're threatened by the Iconics, what does that say about you as champions?
Yeah, no, I get that, and I think maybe part of that is Jesus Christ. Jay is convinced that this wine glass is a pimp cup.
You had a blue one last night, so
I know, and so he references in the chat, pinky out, brah, is what he's telling me. Yeah, and he's like, now it's the yellow one. It's like, Jay, listen, man, we break all our nice glasses, okay? So I'm stuck with these plastic cups. But thank you.
I honestly thought you were just like, that was like a cosplay glass for like when you were Gangrel for one Halloween and you just kept them around.
No, they are our legit wine glasses because my wife breaks anything made of glass. Like
gotcha.
truth, like honest, like God's honest truth, she does.
Don't let her hear you say that.
Going back to the Iconics, though, yeah, you're right. They were serious, and it was refreshing to catch them out. And you're right. The baby faces are retreating here, but they're supposed to be baby faces. Maybe this plays into the hacker angle. Maybe this plays into, them trying to tease dissension amongst these teams. Bliss Cross are one of those teams.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that voice clip was a girl.
There was, yeah. That was Dana Brooke. We're agreed, right? That's not Ronda Rousey. Y'all heard the voice, right? How they slowed the audio down to get.
No, I didn't hear the
like that
slow down
version.
version, but Ronda's too busy to record something.
It's
for
Dana
WWE.
Brooke, man. It was
Dana Brooke. Yeah,
I'm
Dana
not
probably
gonna-
recorded it, but she's not the hacker though. They had a bunch of people like.
Yeah,
record the
no,
voices.
that's the awesome part about it, is they're using so many different people's audio.
But I don't know if it plays anything to the hacker or anything. But I guess maybe it's just the demeanor that the Iconics came out with, because they were like, they want the match. I'm like, okay, fine, you're not gonna give us a title match. Well, we still want a match here. We're not leaving until we get a match. We refuse to leave, and we don't need the titles to prove to you guys how determined we are to be like good or beat or win in general. And it does set up the match between Iconics and Bliss Cross.
How'd you like that? I mean, it was a decent match, but we don't have to sit here and act like it was a 5-star classic. It was a classic tag team match that, in the end, the Iconics, while the ref was distracted, I think punched, who was it, Nikki Cross or Alexa in the throat?
It was a light.
Alexa
It was
got hit in the throat. She's taken out. They hit essentially their version of the Magic Killer. What do you think of that?
reverse Magic Killer.
Inverted Magic Killer. Very soft too. Like they
they
were very sure not to hurt no one.
Well, it's their first match back. Like, if their first time being back on WWE for a while now, and who knows when was the last time they actually had a TV match. Maybe it's just a little bit more ring rust. Let them give them a week or two, a match or two. I'm pretty sure that punch is going to look a little bit better. It's better than what they were doing before. I don't even remember what they were doing before.
Yeah. The chat says, Vince, put your hat back on. Damn, I didn't even realize you're not wearing a hat.
Oh, yeah. I actually got a hair. I was able to get a haircut. I didn't style my hair or anything, but.
Yeah, man.
So I was pretty, every single time a champ loses, I said that I think on SmackDown I had a problem with Bayley losing. I was kind of okay with this one though. A lot of people on Twitter was like, this should have been a no contest and all that. Well, Iconics,
They're returning. They need
even that. I mean, you could still go no contest if you want, but just the fact that the Iconics never won even before they left was why I was okay with getting one.
Yeah.
If they were still winning matches then yeah, maybe no contest. But we just need the visual of the Iconics being able to win a match.
Yeah. They need those tag titles back. They are honestly, no joking aside, no act on here. I have the utmost respect for the Iconics because they are one of the most well-traveled, legitimate female tag teams to be in WWE currently. Those girls have been tagging for years, man. Um,
They went to high school together.
that's what I'm saying.
That's how
Yeah,
far back they go.
yeah, it's nuts. So I have nothing but respect for the Iconics, man.
For
And
sure.
but yeah, I say get the belts back on them, or
ASAP.
and start letting them win, man. Let them win. Uh, it's just
They get a
hard.
title shot next week.
It's just weird because the characters are supposed to be like whiny, annoying, like corner cutters, but yet they are really good in the ring. So it's like kind of how can you be dominant but still need to cut corners? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I hate it too because when they did this more so once they got to main roster, but they played up the fact that they were clumsy in the ring. When in reality, they're not that bad. It's just Billy Kay sells stuff a certain way to get a comedic rise
Right.
and like pop out of people. That's what they're doing. If it was another guy, if it was a guy, they probably wouldn't say nothing. Like honestly, but I don't know. People just like to like think that they're like from the Divas era and they can't wrestle, they're just a pretty face or whatever, but they're really good, they're very talented, and Billy Kay is hilarious.
Yeah. Following that, we had Ray backstage. Ray Mysterio. Surprise, surprise. Although we did see him earlier in the night, but Ray finally gives us an explanation why he's alive.
Glad he is.
Yeah. So,
Hey,
bro,
real quick too. I'm really glad they did that. It was a kind of shitty explanation, maybe, but at least they made the effort to
yeah,
explain and then ignore it. That's what I expected. So, I mean, that's better than what we usually get.
yeah, and it was what we saw. We actually kind of saw it in glimpses of it in the pay-per-view. If you were paying attention, there was a secondary roof, where they got tossed over, and that was the whole thing. They fell 6 foot. Him and Aleister Black both fell 6 foot onto a secondary roof, and before they could get to their feet and get back up, the match was already over. At this point, enters frame is Mr. Greater Good himself, Seth Rollins, and Seth looks dejected. I mean, look at him. That's him right there. Like this dude's got
Oh my
bedhead for
gosh.
days. Looks like he hasn't slept in like a week.
Looks like his kid woke up at 4 a.m.
Dude, it looks like it looks like secretly like he just knows like a couple years ago he had a vasectomy and he just heard his girlfriend is pregnant. That's the look on his face right now. But
That was amazing. I loved it. I thought Seth just like no selling the entire night was really, really great.
before we got to that though, before we got to it, Ray does try to congratulate Seth. He's like, "Hey man, look, happy for you. No gamesmanship here. Fatherhood's gonna change you." Seth gives him that deadpan and just walks off. Did you hear Rey Mysterio say like, "What a dick"?
Yeah, he's such a dick. I loved it. Like little tiny things.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch last night where like Ray left AJ Styles and then it was
It's like,
Ray,
"You're loco."
that's loco, Ray. Like little tiny things the wrestlers drop like that. I freaking love.
Yeah,
I freaking
man.
love. It's like such
But really, what the whole thing is for, Seth is not the poppy. Jay Campos 92 says. Jay, that's my theory, man. That's why he's like this right now. But anyways, all serious aside, this is to preface the 6-man tag match that we got coming up. Rey Mysterio, R-Truth, or no. Wait.
Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black versus Murphy and Seth.
Yeah, Murphy and Seth. Excuse me. I'm thinking of the next match that actually came up. Following that,
jeez.
dude, what was this segment with R-Truth? Like, joining me is gonna be Pretty Ricky, and he puts in those hillbilly teeth.
I don't know. Byron Saxton throughout commentary was selling it like it was a different person.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I
It was a
love
4-on-3 handicap match as well.
Yeah, that's what it was. Right. Yeah, we got R-Truth, Ricochet, and Cedric Alexander taking on
And Pretty Ricky.
Pretty Ricky taking on what Shane Thorne,
Stop it,
Brendan
Byron
Vink, and
Saxton.
MVP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a thing.
It was a pretty fun match to begin with, but this became the R-Truth show. Let's be honest. R-Truth starts off the match normal. He gets on he tags out. He pops in the hillbilly teeth, and he becomes Pretty Ricky. And essentially, if you've watched any of R-Truth's social media, you've seen him do this before. Like, because he loves to do this. It's hilarious, I guess. I can't really hate it, but it was
Right.
just weird for a match. It really left you scratching your head. Like I said, Raw was a really weird show, man. But if you could say, it was a pretty fun match. It showcased the Two Fly team. Eventually, it comes down to Truth in the ring. He gets punched in the mouth, and he's selling it, and he pops out the teeth and just hands it to the ref. Disgusting. Let's just say that. And
Not sanitary, especially right now in these
Hell
times we're
no.
living through right now. What the fuck was that?
dude,
Vince
and then-
McMahon will have his hand sanitizer for the ref when he gets back.
Yeah, man. Truth ends up hitting the lie detector on MVP for the win, and it was just weird to see Truth going back and forth with this. Please get the 24/7 title on Truth. Listen, he does best with that belt. Okay, like let's just get that belt back to him.
Yeah, this
Get
was a
off of
down
Raw.
point. This was a down point.
But what preceded it was a very high point. Lashley
good.
came out and absolutely wrecked R-Truth, man, with a spear. He propped him up for MVP to hit him with a big boot while Truth was on his knees. And then you can hear audibly MVP and Lashley talking like, hey, you want to go have that conversation now about some management? And Lashley said, yeah, let's go talk. And that right there, I'm in, man. Because that, dude, since you guys have said MVP might be managing some people, I'm all for it. And I think that, honestly, best case scenario is Bobby Lashley.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Fun
man.
fact, he actually managed sort of Bobby Lashley back in Impact Wrestling
I
for
heard
like a
about
spell
that.
there. Yeah, for a spell there, it was him and I forgot the dude's name. It was some other third guy. And Lashley, they had their own little like clique together. And he was because I think he was injured, and they transitioned to Bobby Lashley being the top champion. He was basically the mouthpiece for Lashley for a good hot minute there. So they have history together. And MVP, he's gathering his own his own clients. He's got TM62, he's got Lashley, maybe Apollo Crews when we see him return. I like the manager role returning to WWE. I really, really do enjoy it. I want to see that keep happening.
Yeah, man. No, I'm for it too. The chat wants to say, Sebastian, your beard looks like it grew since the last time you were on. I don't know, man. Apparently your beard's
been 3
catching some
days.
eyes, man.
It's been 3 days.
It's been 3 days.
It's 3 days. Hey, it's getting cut tomorrow. Well, trend.
You know who's been growing on me? It's Jinder Mahal.
It's Jinder
and this
Mahal.
segment with
You made me
Charlie
cuss.
Caruso has been
I've been
great.
trying not to cuss, and you made me cuss. I hope you're happy.
So Jinder is trying to make up and redeem himself for his past sins, trying to make up for all the
Yeah,
bad.
and the sin
actions.
was that god awful title run. I just want to tell you.
Hey, now.
That was glorious, man. That was glorious. He's turning babyface now for Sebastian. He's trying to win him over. What you guys thought about this? Like, where do you think he's going?
I thought he was
with
happy.
Jinder?
So he calls out. He says he's happy for his former 3-man band teammate, Drew McIntyre. And Jinder used to be a champ, and he wants to get back there. But this time, his journey back, he wants it to be a hero's journey. And I'm for it, man. I'm for face Jinder Mahal.
I support Jinder Mahal. He is my
No.
Maharaja.
No,
Yes, man. He is, dude.
He's so boring in the ring, and
Listen, man. Listen. You gotta give people chances.
I did when he won the title. I even told my friend, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna give this a chance," and it was a massive disappointment.
Bro,
it was
okay.
awful.
Seb, not
No.
to throw shade or anything, but you kind of remind me of Butters when he's complaining from South Park. That's how you remind me. Right?
It was
You're like
awful.
complaining.
He ruined Shinsuke from the start. I mean, it was awful.
Oh, I was into it. I was into Jinder, man.
I like Jinder.
Oh, my.
He had the title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of titles, you guys can get a title too, by visiting Belts by Dan. It's a custom championship belt manufacturing, repair, and restoration company. They go ahead and offer fully custom championship titles, identical to the quality of those which are used on television by major boxing, MMA, and pro wrestling companies. They also offer accessories. So say, like Jay Thunder over here, say that that nice PWX championship title he has and maybe some of the buttons snap or that belt gets a little dingy, he can hop on Belts by Dan, go ahead, offer the replacement, and get that belt repaired. That's the type of quality that Belts by Dan offers. So make sure, please, go check them out. They also offer other existing belts as resale. So I've seen on there, they have a actual UFC replica belt signed by Tito Ortiz, man, an MMA legend. You guys really need to go check them out. We see you all in the crowd all the time, toting your title belts. Make sure the next time you bring one to the crowd, you got it from Belts by Dan. Thank you, Belts by Dan, for helping out the show and helping out Wrestling World or Wrestling News World. Damn it, botched their name again. WrestlingNewsWorld.com. We really appreciate you guys helping out the website and the show. But back to what we were doing here. What was it? After Charlie, we got
Charlie again with Shayna, because I'm skipping over like afterwards we had the recap between like Edge and Randy, but I'm saving the whole time. I figured we could just save that.
we had the little, we're gonna get a look into the Undertaker special, and who else was interested in that but AJ Styles. He was like, oh, I want to see this promo too, man. So AJ's not over that Undertaker loss. That junk has not left him.
Oh,
man.
yeah. I figured they was getting another match last night at Money in the Bank after the casket and stuff.
Yeah, man. They showed that preview of the Undertaker's special, which, by the way, once again, you guys, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, man. It's awesome.
It's phenomenal.
And AJ doesn't think so. That junk pissed him off, man. When that trailer ran.
Threw the popcorn at the screen, too.
I'm wondering where that's going. You know what I mean? It's affecting AJ, man. But you're right. Shayna, man, dude, throwing some scathing words about a pregnant mother.
It's outstanding.
No filter, Shayna.
Outstanding.
Oh, boy, dude.
First off, I just want to say that was good. That was within character. And if you over here got triggered on Twitter, you need to take I saw a lot of people triggered about the whole thing. Well, she said some very harsh words. She was saying that, like, how do you ruin your career by having a child? You go out here
by having a child.
Oh, yeah. I don't know the exact phrasing, but by letting Seth knock you up, basically, is what she alluded to. It's like, how do you ruin your career by letting Seth Rollins impregnate you? She goes on to say, how do you go from the longest reigning Raw Women's Champion? You're going to go from that to being barefoot, fat, and eating bonbons on the couch.
And she says that kid's going to suck. You know why? Look who the father is.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
Yo, everybody's dunking on Seth. So apparently, female heels do not line up with male heels. They will go heel on each other. Oh, man. That was some fire Shayna spit, man. Even I was like getting a little taken back. I'm like, whoa, she's working you, Kyle. Calm down.
Yeah, she's good at that. She's good.
Yeah, man.
I liked it, and I like how they're still like, even though they're not interacting, they're addressing that it's Seth. I like that they're making the allude to the fact that Seth's that.
Oh man,
it was outstanding.
The chat's saying, Kyle, make it happen. I don't make what happen.
You might have to go back up a bit.
Yeah, maybe.
They might have requested.
Vince, Jay wants you to be Jay's manager. I don't know, man. I think Sebastian would be a better manager than Vince. No offense.
No. RN would be the perfect manager.
Yeah, true.
Kyle, you're a professional.
You're a professional manager. You're a manager in AT&T.
You're a salesman. Selling.
Sell him on Jay Thunder.
Yeah. Listen. I need a product that's worth selling. Okay, all right. No, I'm just kidding.
Belts by Dan.
It's about that.
Oh man, let's talk about this match. Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black taking on Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Seth Rollins, once again, our greater good champion, over here, looks. How would you describe his look?
Dejected. Just like in the trance almost is what commentary was saying.
I mean, you could, if you're watching the YouTube version, there's Seth right there, like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a look. That was a look.
He carried that look for like 15 minutes. Like,
I saw someone make the Festus joke saying that this is what Seth did, because like after the match, during the match when he got hit, he just snapped, And that back in the day, they had Luke Gallows be Festus, and he'd just be like dead look, just wouldn't react, and the bell would ring, he'd just go full,
Just go nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much what happened. It was essentially turned into a handicap match because Seth was so dejected on the ring apron. He wasn't responding, wasn't paying attention to anything, just had this deadpan look in his face. And while Buddy Murphy had to take on both Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black. Eventually, and I mean, Buddy Murphy's calling out to Seth. He's not reacting. And then even Rey Mysterio, like, on the opposite team is like, Murphy, you're going to have to do this on your own. It's pretty bad when the people you're fighting are, like, encouraging you to fight back. Like, hey, look, bro, you're on your own.
But it makes sense. The babyface team, especially Rey Mysterio, it's like, dude, I feel
Rey's
bad
the
for this
you'd
guy.
expect.
It's like cheering on his opponent, man. This is such a weird episode of Raw tonight, man.
It's so weird.
It's
It's
so
weird how
weird.
the match ended because Ray strikes Seth and that knocks him like back into gear. He snaps. He captures Ray as he's trying to hit the 619, and for whatever reason, that was a DQ.
The ref called the bell at that point. Yeah.
Why? He was in the match. He was in the match, even though he wasn't participating. He's a legal member of the match.
If I could justify it, I would say that the ref had been observing Seth Rollins the whole match and was probably just mortified by him. And the second Seth did anything, he was like, okay, we're going to need to stop this. This thing's going to turn violent. And that is exactly what happened.
But you're assuming refs have common sense. A lot of refs in wrestling don't have common sense.
And they're made of glass.
And they're made of glass.
Yeah.
Don't let them around, Lace. Don't let them around your wife. Because she just might break them.
Don't shut up, dude. Good callback.
Kyle's eyes when you said that.
Dude,
Kyle's like, wait,
what
where's
the
he
fuck is
going?
talking about?
Where's he going with this? Like,
Don't let. What about my wife being around other men? Like, what the
No, because she'll just break them. Because they're behind the glass.
Kyle was about to turn into Seth Rollins. Folks.
No,
I was serious.
I was about to say that. I mean, like,
Don't let
hold
him
on.
around your wife, bro. Like, what the fuck does
Hold
that
on,
mean?
sir? Miscalculation there. Misunderstanding. Maybe that's what Seth was doing there. He just misunderstood what was happening the entire
Oh
time.
my god. He
What's-
tried to murder Ray, bro. Worse than freaking Corbin did.
Yeah, that was worse.
Poor
That was
Ray.
worse.
Ray always is. Ray's like
Ray's
king.
bad.
This has
So-
been a bad week for him, Mysterio.
Yeah,
He gets,
so- Seth catches Ray. He pokes him in the eye. And then he gives him, like, just a right cross, closed fist straight to the eye. The commentary team is like, he's focusing in on that eye. He's dialing in on it. And then he just takes his head, grabs Ray's head, and presses his eye against the corner of the steel steps and just proceeds to crush his face, caving his eye in, kayfabe-wise. The trainers and everybody come out. Ray's face is bleeding. They're like, Ray, we got to take your mask off. I mean, it looks brutal. Ray is damn near, like, shoot crying.
And that added to it too. The fact that Ray was telling them to take the mask off. I mean, that added to it. Ray don't want that mask off.
No. It was very violent, very brutal. We keep it here light and breezy, but no, that was on a different level of intensity from Seth. Something we haven't seen before, and we've seen him curb stomp John Moxley's head through some kayfabe concrete.
I loved it though. I was so interested.
Dude, it was so good. And then we cut to commercial. We come backstage. Ray's being treated to blood everywhere. Aleister Black's there. You hear Seth Rollins' voice in the background, but now he sounds like normal Seth Rollins, someone we haven't seen the whole match, almost like he was the greater good Seth Rollins. And he comes in. He's just like, Ray, what happened? I don't know what happened out there. And this incited a brawl from Aleister Black. He lunged at Seth Rollins, and Buddy Murphy interjects, and they just start brawling in the hospital, and you can see Seth scurry off in the background. Do you think that was meant to do anything? Because he took off where Rey Mysterio went through. Or was that him just exiting the room?
No, that's going to lead to something, man. He went to follow Rey Mysterio. This
That's what
dude
I
is
thought.
sick in the head right now.
Hey.
This is leading to something.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go. Like Kyle said earlier, it could be. I mean, I kind of hope it ain't, but it's WWE. It's kind of happened before. Maybe he thinks he's not the dad. I don't know.
No, you remember that's what happened with the Val Venus angle.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like Terry Reynolds or something? I can't remember who it
Yeah.
was, but they were like, "I'm pregnant," and Val Venus was in the ring. He's like, "I had a vasectomy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be stuff
No,
like
no, no,
that.
no. Okay,
It,
I'm gonna shut that down right now. They're not doing anything like
Yo,
that.
what if Becky Lynch has cheated on
No,
Seth,
what have
man?
we seen
no,
before? I mean, after
no.
what we've seen with Lashley and
I
Rusev,
I will
I
not.
mean,
No, I'm sorry. They're
but
not gonna do a storyline
Who's
out of
Becky
Becky Lynch
Lynch's baby
because that's
daddy?
their biggest. That's their biggest star.
not anymore. She's
They
gone.
treat her differently, but they're not gonna go
That's very
ahead
true. We
and make
only
a
kid.
storyline out of it.
But
Jokes aside, they're not gonna do that to one of their big stars because that you make them look less credible as this top act when they come back. You got to keep their mystique alive. It's almost like if you do something like that with Austin in the peak of his run. It's different when you do that as heel Austin, but if you were to do something goofy like that with peak Austin, it's completely different. You can't do
I completely agree. I don't think they're going to do it, but I mean, God, it wouldn't shock me. It could be, he was fought. He was destined to win, beat Drew. He didn't, so now he's going between greater good Seth, like he turned in
Charles Manson.
And here's another thing with the invitation stuff. What if he's feeling some effects from the Fiend?
Yeah.
I mean, long-term storytelling there. So there's a lot of different ways they can go about this, and it's just
Seth Rollins really does not want to see the Fiend pop up on Raw. Like, I don't know.
I do not want to see this or talk about this next segment though. This was terrible. This was like as RN would say, straight ass. That's how he would put it. I didn't like it, but I'll let you guys talk about it.
So I think what you're referring to is the SNL-esque basketball skit between the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I needed this. Like, okay, so let me take this from a storytelling perspective, storytelling perspective, and not just in a bubble.
Yeah,
You have something that's extremely intense and violent and serious, as the Seth segment. You need a palate cleanser. You need something to change the tone, and this was positioned perfectly for that. Now if you have personal feelings about either side and you want to watch them wrestle instead of do a sketch of basketball playing, I get that. But from a storytelling perspective and from a pacing thing, I don't know why I pay so much attention to this now. It was actually perfect placement for this skit.
No, I agree with that. I just don't agree with who was partaking in the segment.
So yeah, we don't really need to talk about we don't need to go too in depth about it. It's
No.
the Street Profits challenge the Viking Raiders to a pickup game of basketball, and essentially the whole joke is the Street Profits are good, the Viking Raiders don't know how to play basketball. You see D'Angelo Dawkins, excuse me.
D'Angelo Dawkins.
Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Check the ball, and they check it right back. Shoots it. They just don't know how to play basketball. Okay, that's all it is. And it was silly. It was fairly dumb. And then the joke at the end where the Viking Raiders had more penalties than they did points, but the twist is they let them win and they know how to play basketball the whole time. And you see, which one was it?
It was Ivar.
Yeah, Ivar starts dunking, starts sinking 3-pointers and half-court shots, but they're the obviously chop shots where you can only see him shoot and then it pans to the hoop and they're just draining.
Yeah.
Dude, stop calling me Jerry Lawler in the chat. All right, that's just mean. All right, that's just mean. It's like 1 a.m. in the morning. God damn it.
The post game stuff was a lot better than the actual game. I was with Vince, during the actual blowout. But the post game kind of made up for it a little bit. But I'll say this: and something that Montez Ford and Dawkins is involved in, you kind of expect something like this. It's kind of pretty much
Isn't that the problem?
Scott Steiner or Matt Hardy MVP trying to one up each other for these, because the thing is, anything you can do, I can do better, and that's what they had back in the day.
You think we're going to get a bunch of skits?
But with Montez and Angelo Dawkins, that's going to be times 10 instead of the
like the one thing I'm gonna say is that if it was a one time thing, fine. But like
Oh, it's
I've said this with the Street Profits a lot. It's like they need to get serious. Like you're the Raw Tag Champions. You just lost to these guys. You guys are gonna be in a wrestling match. Why are you playing basketball? I'm just talking about within the confines
oh,
of
I,
kayfabe.
I
And
completely
I'm
agree.
just saying that Street Profits. This is what Bianca Belair is talking about. You guys got to get serious. This is why you can't beat Viking Raiders because you're out here like being goofy and silly about it. And that's the contrast between this and the MVP and Matt Hardy
I
competitions
completely
they had
agree.
back in the day because the thing was is that it was ironically funny because they were so serious about the entire event that it came off laughable and funny, comedic. This just feels like they're trying too hard to be funny. And on top of that, you have the Viking Raiders who are supposed to be these freaking badasses, and you jump between doing like chants in your car to being badasses in the bowels of the arena to playing basketball to being the Street Profits. It's like that's my only issue with it is who was involved and why they were doing
I
it.
completely agree. I think
Yeah,
Montez, I mean, he's funny. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of times where he's too much, and
he'll never be like Kyle has said that he has potential to be like a world
he
champion
does.
potential. He's not going to reach it if he continues like going down this goofy path.
Do you
And
think
tonight was one of them too much moments. I thought.
Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman trade off the Viking Raiders every week?
I feel like it.
Don't you feel
Maybe they
like
have
it?
joint custody. They have joint custody on the
Yeah,
Viking Raiders,
yeah,
and they
man.
take turns on how they're gonna book them.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Vince McMahon's booking carpool karaoke and basketball skits, while Paul Heyman's booking them to be these badasses.
I
I
don't
don't
know,
know,
man.
man. It's just me, maybe.
Yeah,
Speaking of badass, though, Shayna has a skit, backstage segment with Natty. Excuse me, I'm still talking SNL skits.
The Savage.
When she tells off Natty in brutal fashion, Natty will never have kids. The
the
Hart
Hart
Dynasty
Dynasty.
is gonna die with her. Jesus Christ.
Shayna has no filter, man.
No, man. I like that about it though. I
Yeah,
like that the empty arenas really highlight Natalia's trash talking though, because she had a
Yeah, she
match with
did a good job.
Baszler and Natalia was out there talking some serious trash back. She drops the B word a lot. She does say
Yeah.
bitch like a
I really
lot.
like the you think the dungeon's a joke, you fake wrestler, and then something.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was like, I came from the dungeon. You're a fake wrestler. Oh
yeah,
man,
Oh,
that was pretty dope.
yeah. I thought that.
But I mean, it was all for naught. I mean, honestly, Natalia really wasn't a threat at all in that match. She had a couple moments, but she never looked like she was gonna win. And eventually, she lost to like a big knee to the face. It was cool to see Baszler win with something that's not even like a signature move. She did go to break Natalia's arm. She got out of the way, but she ate a knee for her trouble. Yeah, and that was it. I mean, it was a match. It was just to make
solid.
Shayna look, brutal.
yeah,
Yeah. Corbin was at Raw though. Did you see that?
yeah. That was weird.
And that,
weird. He was
actually, this
there.
is what I wanted to say earlier when we were talking about that. It gives them a chance, if you're going to do it a week in advance, for the person to hype up their match, kind of like a UFC thing where they can hype it up beforehand with just
true.
interviews, not even just fist fights. Just say, hey, we're going to have this match.
We'll see how it plays out, man. I'm on the fence. I'm 50-50 on how this is gonna go.
Oh, it
I'm gonna
could
give
very
it a
well
couple.
go wrong, but
We'll see, man. But will it be the best wrestling match ever, though, between Corbin and Drew McIntyre next week? That's my
No,
question.
that's reserved for Edge and Randy Orton. Oh my God! All right, so I'll preface this and I'll let you, Sev, go in on this because this was, man, I'm tired. I'm tired, and I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of WWE treating us like we're fucking idiots. Edge and Randy Orton are been hyped the whole night. They're gonna face off at the end of the show. So Edge is out there, and he's talking that well, actually, first, Edge and Orton haven't seen each other since their match, their last man standing match. Jesus, at Mania.
It's like, man, I get it.
Thank you. I'm sorry. That match happened to be longer than the whole like Money in the Bank pay per view. By the way, like I really
it.
feel like it was.
Stop it.
No, it
Stop
really was, man. I'm just saying. But
hey, there's a report out there that Vince is actually preferring to keep these pay per views short, like Money in the Bank.
Oh yeah,
Please.
yeah. I leaked those information out there that I want the pay-per-view shorter. So that was my orders. That was my specific order.
But anyway, that's a great news though. The Money
Jesus
in the Bank flew
Christ.
by. It was great.
I like how Seb no sold my joke. Fine.
Yeah, no, I caught that too.
I don't like it.
But
It's a bad joke.
Edge comes out to the ring. He says that last week on Raw they hyped it up that he was here to hunt Randy Orton, hunt the Viper, and he was like, That's the lie. They didn't even talk to me when they said that." He's like, "I'm actually here to move on. I'm ready to move on to the next challenge." All that stuff. Randy comes out. He congratulates Edge, and then he walks off. That was it. But apparently, his pride just won't let him do it. Comes back. Randy Orton believes that Edge is fine in gimmick matches. That's the thing. He came back in a Royal Rumble. He beat him in a last man standing match. But he believes Randy's pride is that his wrestling ability will always trump Edge's grit and passion. And so he wants a wrestling match, no gimmicks, just a straight up match at Backlash. And then, that's when Charlie asks Edge, "Do you accept?" and is silent. And Charlie Caruso closes off Raw. There you have it, folks. If this match goes down, it just may be the greatest match ever.
Oh my gosh, so terrible.
Thank you, Charlie.
Before this segment even happened, I put it in the group chat. I was like, I'm really confused on why Edge would be hunting for Randy Orton and all this. He won the match. There's nothing to hunt for.
Exactly.
And I love the fact that Edge brought that to attention, and they used that at the build and all that. And the whole promo by Randy was great. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. It was amazing. But WWE has this tendency, when something's really good, they just have to add this little twist. And damn it, Charlie. I was so mad when she said that, dude. Like, I was so into this and all this. It was serious. It was great. And all of a sudden,
well,
this
it's
might
going to
be
be
the greatest
billed,
match in history.
right? It's probably going to be billed like what? How many weeks now? Every week, greatest wrestling match might be the greatest wrestling match.
Or deliver.
No.
I know it's not going to be the best match. Imagine if it's a stinker, though.
Imagine if it could be. It could be.
I mean, it could.
But okay, so my biggest issue here, and I've said this a lot, there was an issue with the Mox and Omega match where they had like the lights out match or whatever. Yeah. How do you have this intense and like extreme match, and then you're gonna go into a singles match? That's what they did with Omega and Moxley. They had the lights out match, and they go and have a singles match afterwards. Like, how do you carry the feud over? Like, I don't like. And you, Sebastian, you've mentioned this with Seth Rollins and The Fiend when they had the Hell in a Cell match, and then they go and have a regular match. It's
that was an no count. That was a false count anywhere. They didn't have a regular match when Fiend won.
I kind of understood this though.
Because remember,
I
Seth got blew up.
Randy Orton's motivation is it's all pride.
Yeah,
Randy Orton can't be second best to Edge, and so his justification is I'm the better wrestler. Like I'm just my inept ability in wrestling is better than you. You can beat me at gimmicks and certain stipulations, but in a straight up match, I can beat you. So I can get Randy Orton because Edge was ready to move on. You know what I'm saying?
This makes the story. I mean, you know me. Even if I like something or don't like it, if they can make it make sense, I'm okay with it. And they did. They did a wonderful job. Edge, you haven't had a regular match in 11 years still. You might be back, but you haven't had a regular match, a regular sanctioned wrestling match. So he's wanting to prove Edge right because Edge even said Randy Orton's one of the greatest of all time. So in a way, he's wanting to prove Edge right by kicking his ass.
Yeah, but the intensity does go down, though. Yeah, you do go from the guy RKO'd your wife, and now you need to have a match where you guys are on the brink of killing each other.
Doubt.
To now, let's just have a good by the books match.
No doubt, you're out there. I'm just talking about at least they're able to make sense storyline. But for me, that's all I want. Whether I like it, don't like it, whatever. As long as you can make it make sense and the story makes sense, because we don't get that a lot with this company.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're gonna watch it, you know.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, overall, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, that was just like a nitpick. Like I wasn't talking about like this like feud in general. I just hate it when they have like this gimmick match and then they transition to like a singles match or a match with less stakes, less intensity. That's just my gripe. I like them. I like the matches to intensify and turn into more of a fight as the feud goes along, similar to what they were doing with like Ciampa and Gargano, or even like Shawn Michaels and Triple H early on.
Where
Stuff like
it
that.
culminates like in a Hell in a Cell. That was the whole
Yeah,
purpose
exactly.
of how Hell in a Cell was. That is
Unfortunately, these gimmick pay-per-views kind of ruin all that, though.
Yeah. No,
But we
true.
get Backlash back. That's not a gimmick pay-per-view.
Hey, we do get Backlash. Now if we can get the swinging hooks.
Not.
Oh, bring back the swinging hooks. Please bring back the swinging hooks. Oh, man.
Maybe in 2K.
Yeah.
I wish they'd do more. I mean, they brought back No Mercy, and they even tried, what was it? It was a stupid name.
Taboo
Balls of Fire.
Tuesday. Taboo Tuesday is my
Taboo
pay-per-view.
Tuesday. I would love for them to bring that back. But these gimmick pay-per-views kind of ruin, like Vince said, the ladder of just building things up. They kind of just ruin
Except for
it.
the Money in the Bank, I feel like it's become the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they can keep Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Because that's 6 guys anyway. It ain't like it's a one-on-one. You can still intertwine a story in it. But
For sure.
Elimination Chamber? Keep that?
no, get rid of it.
Get rid of it?
I would say
makes sense,
get rid of
though.
the
It makes sense
pay-per-view.
because you have the Royal Rumble for the number 1 contender, and then the Elimination Chamber is for the remaining title.
No, but see,
Wow.
sometimes they throw in the tag teams in there. That's why.
That's
Recently.
true. That is true.
Or they'll just do like a number 1 contender or another title match. There's no consistency. I kind of just wanted to like play into the feud as well. Like that Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber, they don't need their own pay.
Yeah, if you go back to, I think it was SummerSlam 03, that Elimination Chamber, they was able to use all 6 guys' stories and intertwine them to make a match.
Exactly.
That's the great Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
When you mix these multiple stories, not just, hey, it's February, and
It's February time. For
we
that.
got to throw you in this steel chamber and glass. And
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the gimmick pay-per-views, I wish they'd, go away.
Anyways. Well, that's our show, you guys. Thank you for joining us. You guys make sure to like, share, comment, all that stuff down below. And until next time, you guys have a good one.
See you.
Later.